The Damage Show is the convergence of everything that's important to me. It's me using art as my way of coping with everything that's going on in the world, making images that I hope will move people, that will create conversations that wouldn't happen otherwise. I think that the power of art is that it can impact people emotionally and lead them to addressing things intellectually that otherwise they would just ignore. Every technique, every image, everything in Damaged is about demonstrating the power of art to change things, to change how things work politically, to change people's philosophies, to change people's mindset on different issues, and for people to unlock their potential. The techniques I use within Damaged are unintimidating techniques. They're techniques that I think almost anyone who has an interest in creating art. The Target Exceptions canvas was one of the breakthrough pieces for the Damage Show. That's a main image that appears in a few places in the show. It was the image that I chose to use for the main invitation for the show. And I'm very happy with that canvas and that image in general because I feel like it works on a few levels. I feel that the portrait of the woman who is Indian but could be from anywhere in India, Bangladesh, the Middle East. Hopefully she's just obviously someone who's not a white American, but someone that is from a different part of the world, that she feels very sympathetic, that the idea that she's looking toward a future that may not be attainable comes through in the pose. I trust my gut feeling when I'm working on an illustration that if this image makes me feel this way, hopefully it'll make any other viewer in my audience feel the same way. It's merged with some other symbols and a sort of The Wrong Path canvas is about the lone environmental warriors' challenges of confronting very, very powerful industries that have such a foothold, fossil fuel industries that have been dominant for basically 100+ years. And the woman, the protagonist, is holding up a piece of greenery. She's wearing a leather jacket. The Wrong Path canvas is about the lone environmental warriors' challenges of confronting very, very powerful, what I now call my When I found the warehouse space which housed the Damage Show, I immediately thought of an auto repair shop, something that housed, an industrial workshop. And I love the idea of creating a neon sign, which was a faux sign from the shop or an ad for the shop. And with Damaged and all of the different subversions of the language of advertising that I used in the show, the Damaged Times newspaper concept evolved from an element that I had created for the media target painting, the first painting I created for the Damaged Show. I'd made a fake newspaper cover with headlines that was the backdrop for the imagery, and that got me really excited about designing a newspaper. And I decided that my love of printed material, the deterioration in quality of a lot of media that it would be important for me visually and conceptually to create a piece of media that demonstrated the power of print and the power of being your own media source. So for the Damaged Times, I decided that a lot of the topics in the show that I thought were important to touch upon, I'd go deeper on by working with writers who are experts in various fields and really great at doing research and conveying their perspective on any. In the Damaged show, I wanted to present a show that was gallery quality, but also referencing my history as a street artist, and in fact, creating almost a blurred line between street. Bias by Numbers was one of the earlier. The Defend Dignity painting is a canvas iteration of one of the posters that I created for the Women's March in 2017 that is a portrait of a Latina that said Defend Dignity. It was a collaboration with the Amplifier Foundation and photographer Arlene Mejorado, who shot the subject.
How long did it take you to create the exhibition Damaged?
It took me about a year and a half of that being my main focus, and it took me many, many months of that being almost my sole focus. I was working long hours, staying up until 2 o'clock in the morning every night, and it's a lot of work. And I had, fortunately, a lot of great help with my art assistants and people who work with me. But it's a very, very ambitious show to put together, even within a longer. The No Future piece in Damaged is an iteration of an image I created right after Trump was elected. I was very frustrated by what seemed to be a move towards all these angry ideas about division and exclusion. So I wanted to make a piece that was really an indictment of that mentality and the kind of person that would cling to conservative ideas that I think have no place in a progressive America. So my illustration of the businessman holding the newspaper, and the newspaper says manifest density. The idea there was that density being an impenetrable ignorance, when you say someone is dense. But it's a play on manifest destiny, which was the very egotistical idea that European settlers had been given the mandate divinely, that by God, that they would conquer from ocean to ocean, that it would be a manifestation of their destiny to conquer from ocean to ocean. So taking phrases that are known and twisting or subverting them is something that I enjoy doing. The No Future is a reference to the Sex Pistols song God Save the Queen, which has got an antagonistic, nihilistic bent to it, but then saying no. One of the great things about creating all the fake ads for the Damaged Times was that it allowed me to create all these images that could then be collaged in fine art pieces. I usually am collaging real ads because there are plenty of real ads that are absolutely absurd and reinforce different principles about our culture of mass consumption and obsession with material things, from things that are serious to very silly. But it was even more useful to create these ads where I could have ads that made raw material for collage